Daddy, we're doing.
I'm doing a podcast, Dizzy. Hello and welcome to the Too Cool for School podcast. I'm your host Yannick, and on today's episode I have two amazing guests from Revive Congo, and I'll allow them to introduce themselves.
Thank you. Great to be here. I'm Lakeisha Anang, the co-founder of Revive Congo. We've been co-founding Revive Congo now for 14 years. Aside that, I'm also a business coach. I help high-achieving 9-to-5 ladies turn their expertise into mullah. And yeah, that's a bit about me.
Hello. I am Pamela Abiola. I'm also the co-founder of Revive Congo. And like Lakeisha said, we've been doing this for 14 years. I can't believe it. But I'm also a mindset coach that helps women become the best version of themselves. I'm a wife. I've been married for nearly 10 years and I have 2 beautiful children.
Oh, that's amazing. And I had to rep the Congo jersey today.
Yes.
Yeah. 52 years, we're back in the World Cup. I had to holler at Umbro and say, yeah, where's the new kit? Let's go. So to start us off, I wanted to know, so let's take it back 14 years. Like, how did Revive Congo start?
Well, so it all started back in 2011, where Lakeisha and I, we didn't know each other at the time, but we were both law students studying law, but had a passion for our country. So we're both from Congo and we wanted to do something to help. We didn't know what it was. We didn't know what it looked like, but we just wanted to help. So I had a mentor who was also Lakeisha's mentor at the time, who then connected us. Lakeisha and I then had a meeting. I always laugh because I was like 2 hours late for this meeting. But bear in mind, we were 18, 19 at the time, so my time management skills weren't the best. But we ended up sitting in McDonald's and we were like, we want to do something for our country. So we sat down, we said we were going to get whoever we know to be a part of this group that we called it at the time. And then that's where Revive Congo started kind of flowing.
Yeah. And I don't think we knew what it was going to become. We just was like, we want to do something to help. And yeah, now we're here.
That's amazing. And when you look back at that time, why was it important for you guys to want to do something back home? And when you say do something back home, are you able to elaborate on whether that is like creating businesses? Was it more of, trying to help and support? What did back home look like at that time? And what was the need that you was trying to sort of put in place?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll answer sort of one of the questions you asked around what did the help look like. We just wanted to do everything.
Yeah.
Like, we were very just young zealous ladies that wanted to change the world. And
DR Congo.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And for me personally, I had never been to Congo when we started. I didn't go until I was 21. So I was just always told, make sure you study hard, because if you was in Congo, you wouldn't have had this experience. You're lucky to be here. So I just grew up on sort of hearing that. My dad didn't really speak much about the country, but as Pam mentioned, we were both studying at the time. And because I studied law, I used that as an opportunity to research. So every essay, like they were like, yeah, choose an essay title. And for me, it was all Congo. Yeah. So doing the research, basically Monday to Friday, for me was like, there is so much that I didn't know that was happening. That's the time when there were a lot of marches happening as well. There was a lot of noise. And of course, I was older now. So although my dad didn't tell me much, I had an understanding of what was going on. And I had always said, especially to my mentor, who Pam mentioned, that when I'm older, I want to do something to help Congo. Yeah. And she was like, what are you waiting for? And when she asked me that question, it literally felt like someone punched me in my heart. And that's when I decided that I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I wish things could be different. I'm going to try and do something. Like everyone can do something. And that was the big driver.
Absolutely. And I think for me, so I went to Congo for the first time in 2012. Prior to that, Lakeisha and I were already in communication. But I literally went and saw that people my age want what I want, They want access to education. They want to be able to pursue their dreams, but they're not in that position. So I literally came back from that trip hungry to see how I can help those also have the similar opportunities that I have. Because it's heartbreaking, because when you see people that have potential and you see people that look like you, and the only difference is where you're based, it was like something that, like Lakeisha said, it's kind of like someone's punched you in the stomach. But on top of that, Congo being a very rich country in resources, we rely on Congo's resources for us to function, especially with AI, with technology. And to see that people are not benefiting from their own resources was something that really propelled us to be like, we need to do something.
Yeah, that's important. That's amazing. And I understand that, 14 years ago, you were young, you were zealous, and you wanted to do everything. So if you fast forward 14 years, like what is Revive Congo's like mission and vision as of 2026?
So Revive Congo's mission is simply to educate and equip young people between the ages of 4 to 21 in the UK and in the DRC. So how we do that in the UK is by ensuring that we are educating young Congolese people about back home, about why it's important for them to take their education seriously, but also why it's important for them to know what is happening in Congo. And this was after doing some research and finding out that in the African diaspora in the UK, young Congolese people are underachieving. So we had this kind of passion, if you like, to see how we could be a part of that solution, and started some summer youth programs, which were absolutely amazing. It was an opportunity for young people to be educated, but also to be inspired and encouraged by those that look like them. And in the DRC, we have our Future Leaders program. As you may or may not know, over 50% of the population in Congo is young people. And we know that we want poverty to be alleviated from their lives.
Yeah.
So we know that education is key. So we started this Future Leaders program to educate young Congolese people in primary age education. And as well as that, and I can pass this over to Lakeisha, we've recently started our IT skills program as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a newer initiative that has been very exciting because, yes, we want young people to be empowered in Congo. We want them to have education. But in a digital world, like everyone that's going to see this is it's going to be free technology, right? And if we don't have young people digitally equipped, it doesn't matter how skilled, talented. We already know Congolese people are amazing in every right. But if they are not able to showcase that, access the digital world that we're in, then it leaves them with little opportunity. So that's been really exciting. We've been working on that for the past 2 years and looking to continue growing and scaling that.
That's amazing. And just out of curiosity, out of all of the sectors that you could have, or all of the skill set that you could have focused on, what was it about IT that really stuck out for you?
Yeah, good question. I think when we initially thought about the idea, because we started, as Pam mentioned, helping young people with primary education. And it was like, okay, we want to do a bit more. Like we want to help them with skills. And we were like, maybe we can look at beauty, maybe we can look at filming, maybe we can look at all of these different things. And we went to Congo. We've been to Congo a few times, but specifically in 2023, we used that time to really speak to the local people, from young people to people in employment to employers. And we were like, look, we really want to help young people in Congo. Like, what do you see is a problem? We asked the young people themselves, we asked employers in Congo, and they were like, look, Congolese people are gifted and talented, but a hiring manager told us when it comes to their CVs, they don't even know how to put that together. And hearing that was so sad, because as much as we may say, oh yeah, CVs are this, CVs are that, most people are able to be where they are because of the skill of creating a CV, and that simple skill was lacking. And it's just like, it's come up so many times. We cannot ignore the fact that this is a problem, which is why we've started with IT, and who knows where it will go. But it was a problem that people spoke about over and over and over again.
That's interesting. So, and obviously I wasn't aware of this. So the job market and the structure of the job market in Congo mirrors what we see here in Europe in terms of having to have like a CV to send to like employers and whatever else? Is that the case? That's how it works for most jobs in Congo? Or?
So I don't know in full detail like how the job market works. I've never had to access it, but from the person we spoke to was in the banking industry. My assumptions are that
sector.
that kind of space.
It mirrors,
but of course, you know, it is Africa. We know how things work sometimes. I'm sure there's other ways, but
of course. But I think the main issue is that even spelling mistakes on a Word document, you know, where you have words that can change the spelling for you, and just not being able to format things, you know, in a way that looks professional. And I think that also pushed us to come back and look at the numbers, and the numbers are really shocking. I think it's under 23% of the population in Congo that have IT skills, and that is extremely low.
Very.
That already shows that they are behind in terms of the advancement of technology. That already shows that they are behind in terms of knowledge. And we understand that knowledge is power, right? And we understand that a way for them to eradicate poverty is by having the knowledge to be able to do that. So that was a really big thing for us as well, looking at those numbers and seeing how can we tackle the numbers.
Yeah. And in terms of when you're going out to Congo and you're communicating with, you know, corporates and, you know, advisors and whoever you're speaking to, and I guess this could be a thought process that some in the diaspora have. Like, how do you communicate with like the locals back home? Like, do you need to be able to speak Lingala? Do you need to be able to speak French? Because I know that for some people that have grown up here, you know, in the UK, they might not be able to speak Lingala, or they might not be able to speak French. Like, what is the... And I say some people, but not me. Ngana lo baka Lingala, na o comprend. Ngana problem te.
Ngana me kaka.
You try. That's cool.
Do you know what? To answer your question and to be blunt and to be honest, yes, you do. And
Lingala or French or both?
I would say both, because even Lakeisha and I, so Lakeisha's stronger at Lingala, I'm stronger at French, right? But the reality of the situation is anytime you are going to do some sort of business in Congo, you need to know French or Lingala. You do. That's just how it is. And what we've tried to do is we've tried to see how we can improve it, because especially when you're talking to the locals or when you're talking to professionals, you need to be able to talk in a way that the conversation flows like it's flowing today, without having the needs of getting a translator, if you like. And thankfully, we may not be perfect at our French and Lingala, but thankfully we are, you know, at a point where we can actually have a conversation without that. So yes, if you are in the UK and you want to do business back home, then yes, French and English would be something that would definitely be something that you need to know, unless you're talking to those that have now left the UK or left another Western country to go and reside there.
Yeah. And I'll just add, like, you won't know until you try. Like, I'm from Ghana and Congo, like raised by Ghanaian mum predominantly. There was no Lingala in my house every day. You know, I understood Lingala growing up, but I didn't start to speak Lingala until I started Revive Congo. So like, if anyone's watching this and they're like, oh, like I don't speak Lingala.
How old were you?
How old when
you started?
I was 18. So I could understand everything. And maybe I was shy to speak, because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I can't speak. But if you try and open your mouth, like it might not sound like everyone else, but Koko actually understands me. So if Koko understands me, I'm sorry, don't tell me nothing. But I just feel like you just have to at least try. If someone's watching this, they're like, oh yeah, I would love to, but the language, I wouldn't let that stop you. Like, you can try. Even if trying looks like speaking to an auntie once a week for 10 minutes, like every little counts. And when you're in Congo, you are just forced.
You're forced
like,
to.
I was
No one's
surprised at
speaking
myself
English. No one's
because
speaking
I
English.
literally had to, even like meeting my aunties. As I said, I didn't go until I was a bit older. Meeting my aunties, Coco for the first time. We were all trying to just talk. And even when I went back recently, they're like, oh, like your Lingala's improved. But that's just come by trying. And I still don't even speak much Congolese on a regular, much Lingala regular, like when I'm here. But I would just say, just try. Don't let that, if you have a dream to do something in Congo, don't let that stop you. Just try.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
important. Thank you for sharing. And when you've both been back to Congo and to do your work there with like the young people, the orphanage, etc., and even when you've been like communicating with back home, what would you say is like the biggest struggle that you're seeing that the young people and the youth have to face in terms of education, infrastructure, and just in general opportunities?
I would say one of the biggest struggles is the lack of resources. So currently, primary education is now free in Congo. The children that we support go to a paid school, and that's simply because although the education is free, the resources tend to be very limited and very scarce. So you have people made a joke about it the other day. You have people using books that their parents used for lessons. You have teachers refusing to mark papers without having some sort of payment from the student. So it means that although it's free, you're not necessarily getting the best education, if you like, which is why we have to pay for the children that we support to go to school. And I think, one of the biggest things is the poverty. They live in extreme poverty, where when we say poverty, we're talking about they don't know what they're going to eat today, let alone tomorrow. They don't know what the evening is going to hold. You have people that are as young as 3, 4. When you go there, you literally see them carrying things on their back for the whole day. And it means that they can't go to school because they have to find a way to support and help their family. But it also means that they also have to do the running around before school. So that's kind of like a few kind of challenges, if you like, that the young people are facing there.
Definitely. And I'll just add like opportunity to that. I don't know if you remember, Pam, the first time I think we went to a conference, a women's young women's conference, and we spoke to so many young ladies in university, and everyone was like talking about how they wanted to come to Europe. And we're like, why do you want to come to Europe? Why don't you want to stay and build something? And as Pam mentioned, one of them was like, look, university, our books are like hundreds of years old. Like the level of education that we're getting, really, we don't think it's going to be enough, and there's going to be more opportunity when we come to Europe. And that was, I obviously understood where they were coming from, but it was quite heartbreaking to think that a lot of people are there and they're just ready to leave. And it's like, we need the talent that's there. So I think opportunity as well is a big challenge that we see come up over and over again.
Yeah, and I think that's a systemic issue. I think across the board, especially in Africa and similar type continents where the idea is that you have to come to Europe or you have to go to the US to get a good qualification, and the fact that the qualifications that we receive back home are not even recognized. So people would go, they'll study uni and do whatever else. They'll come here, I did this course to be a nurse or to be finance or a lawyer, whatever, and you're having to find yourself studying all over again, because here in Europe and the systems in the US or whatever are looking at your degree and saying, actually, what you're from, we don't recognize that, so you have to do the process all over again, and I guess it's for our governments to be intentional with making education important. Like, what resources can we put into our country? How can we develop the country so that the education that we offer, our students, our young people, young adults, whoever wants to learn, is, you know, is enriching, and
Yeah.
they're not having to read books that are, you know, like how many years old, really. Yeah, that's important. And you know, I've mentioned the orphanage in brief. Could you share a bit more about the work that you do at the orphanage and how that relationship, you know, came about, essentially?
Yeah, sure. So earlier you asked us, you know, what is the main focus for Revive Congo right now? And, you know, we've spoken about education and youth, but there's of course so many problems to solve in Congo. Not saying that Congo is terrible, because it's absolutely not. It's a beautiful country. But we know that the children are the future. Revive Congo is a volunteer-led organisation with predominantly volunteers based in the UK. So it was great for us to be like, oh yeah, we want to help young people, but how? We don't live there. We don't have any connections. So one of our trips in 2019, the focus of that was to connect with different establishments where there were young people, whether that was schools, but it was mainly orphanages. And the orphanage that we are currently supporting through mainly providing primary education. We met the orphanage. The orphanage manager, Mama B, it's just a lady. She's with a great heart. Like she's doing great work, and we thought that this would be a good place to support the children, a handful of children that we could support with primary education. So how the relationship works is really supporting children with primary education and funding their fees. We also regularly, I say regularly, but sort of quarterly, will support with food as well, because it's great to provide education, but if these children are going to school hungry, then they can't really learn. So that's how things, like, we founded the orphanage, and that's how we're working with them at the moment, specifically around providing school fees for a number of the orphans in the orphanage. And yeah, it's been a great journey. There's one particular girl, maybe I'll let Pam speak more on her, but you know, she's been with us from the beginning for the last 7 years. Oh my gosh, 7 years.
Wow.
And just also seeing, like, she's doing great in school, but just seeing her growth, it's honestly been a beautiful journey. Do you want to?
So when you were talking, I couldn't stop smiling, because it has been such a beautiful journey. You've got Brunel, who Lakeisha is talking about, I believe, where when we first met her, she just wouldn't smile at all. And she comes from, you know, a very tough background. Unfortunately, her parents passed away. Her uncle was looking after her. Her uncle's wife was abusing her, which is why her uncle decided to drop her off at the orphanage. And when we, you know, connected with her, again, like I said, she never used to smile, was very timid. If you see her now, and how much she smiles and how happy she is, every time we go and see her, or when we get pictures of her, it's just so amazing to see that we're a part of something that is very much special and impactful. And although at the moment there are over 80 children, I believe, at the orphanage, we're not able to support all of their schooling. But what we do is we do run activity days, where every quarter we'll do like a wash activity, where we'll give them soap, we'll give them, you know, sanitary towels, different things for them to learn how to look after themselves, how to look after their hygiene. We've also done different things around children's mental health. So it's been a great way to see how we can support the orphanage as a whole, and not just the children that we are able to currently pay for their school fees.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think, you know, when you're doing these sort of roles and you're here in the UK, sometimes it's difficult to really see the fruits of the seeds that you've sown, especially, you know, when you're miles away in a different country. And I guess it's it's a testament to your longevity,
Thank you.
the persistency of the persistence of the organization to keep pushing, to keep existing, and hence why we can hear this amazing story about this girl Bruno, who you've been able to see over a 7-year span, just progress and grow in confidence. And my hope is that Revive Congo will get to a point where you're scaling your work to be able to provide for those other 80 students. So it's not just activity days, but you're able to give back more. And on that point, for the diaspora that's here in the UK, because I'm sure there's going to be other people from Congolese background and Congolese community who have that same fire and drive that you did 14 years ago, and they're saying, you know what, I want to make a difference. And essentially it's the reason why I got in touch to work with you guys as well, because I said, you know what, I'm in education, I've got all this expertise, how can I give back? And hence why I got in touch and why I got involved with Revive Congo myself. But for those in the diaspora who want to make a difference, who want to get involved and support Revive Congo, what is the best way for them to do that, and what is the most effective way? Because sometimes when people think charity, they think, oh, this is just what they need and this is all I'm going to do. But there could be other ways that they could be, productive. So it would be good to know, how people from the diaspora can support.
Who wants to say this?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, sure. So people in the diaspora supporting Revive Congo, really good question. And, we wouldn't be here without, the two of us alone just wouldn't be able to do it. We've had support from the team, support from the public who have been, supporting us over such a long period of time, over a decade, right? And there's people who have come into our journey maybe a bit more recent, but there's a few ways that people can support Revive Congo. If you are one of those people thinking about supporting us, then some of the ways include becoming a monthly donor, where you can support us from any amount on a monthly basis that works for you. And that will really help with providing more. You were talking about providing, school fees for 80 people. It would help us with increasing those numbers from where we are at 6 to definitely more, as well as supporting the IT program. Aside from that, we always have amazing people taking up challenges to fundraise for us. I know, Yannick, last year you met someone who done the marathon for us, and they was able to in one day raise hundreds of pounds, which means that that was able to support young people with their primary school fees, and as well as that, supporting us on social media, sharing the word. And if you are interested in becoming, providing more active, ongoing support, then feel free to drop us an email if you are interested in becoming a volunteer. Have I missed anything?
You haven't missed anything at all, but I would just re-emphasize the fact that we have amazing people as well that are fundraising for us this year.
Yes.
We've got someone that's doing a 5K for us next month. We've got someone else that wants to do a walk from London to Brussels.
Oh, wow.
So if anyone wants to do any type of fundraiser, we are always looking for someone, always looking for people to fundraise for us.
And we have a run coming up. Yeah. We have a charity run coming up. We're going to cap it at, we're saying about 20 runners at the moment. As this is being recorded right now, we have 5. So if you're seeing this,
we now
because
have 6.
We have 6. By the time this is aired, I don't think we're going to have many left. So be fast to get in touch and say you want to run. But that's going to be really cool, really fun. And there are so many ways. So get connected with us. We would love to connect with you and hear more if you're one of those people who are ready to support us.
That's great stuff. That's great to hear. And I think I'm down as one of the runners, aren't I?
Yes,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
Whoop,
You're
whoop.
doing 10K, right? Because you can either do 5K or 10K,
Yeah,
but
I'm doing the 10K.
I'm doing 10K with you.
Yeah, because I think last year you said, 5K, that's too light
Nah,
for
that's-
me. Was that you?
Don't worry about it.
5K is light
Don't worry
work.
about it. But yeah, so I'm doing the 10K, and I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to that, and I hope the money and the funding and the donations does go to a good cause.
Absolutely.
And so you guys are a charity. You've been doing this for 14 years, and I know very well that there's ups and downs, there's difficult periods. You go through your seasons. It'll be good to know, like, what are some of the obstacles that you've faced in terms of whether it's like funding,
Yeah.
infrastructure, or trying to scale and trying to
Yeah.
to grow the charity to the place that you want it. What are some of the difficulties or some of the obstacles that you guys have faced?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And when you ask that, there's 3 things that come to mind. So time, that is something that with everything, because we started when we were in uni, like we had
Time.
we thought we didn't have time, but we had all the time in the world, and then now building a career, like we have businesses now. We're both married. Pam's got 2 children. Like, she didn't have 2 children when we started. So it's really, and as you can probably tell, like, we're like, yeah, we want to do all of this stuff. Like, every year we'll have we'll set our goals. We're like, yeah, we want to do this, and we want to do this. But then we're faced with the reality is, realistically, what can we commit to? Because we're not doing this full time. We have volunteers, and including yourself, all amazing, and we have volunteers in Congo too. But still there is always that, okay, we want to do this, but what time do we have? So that's one. And of course, life has just changed. And then finances as well. Before COVID, I would say it was probably a lot easier to get funding. COVID changed a lot in terms of funding, and specifically I'm talking about applying for grants. And we saw a big change around that. And again, we will start with these plans. We want to do A, B, C, D, but then it's like, okay, but finances, what can we actually do? And then the last thing I would say is the culture difference. Of course, we're both Congolese, but I feel like it probably took us a lot longer to learn this in particular, in terms of just understanding that the culture isn't the same. Like, we may want something, we may think something is a good idea, but it might not actually be, which is why we were really big on getting more volunteers from Congo involved in our work, so that they can have a say in what they actually need. So working through that culture difference, knowing that in the UK, you can, work on a project, set the vision, finances, you don't have to do extra overseeing and all of this stuff, but it's different. And especially because we are a registered charity, we are accountable to the public. We are accountable to the Charity Commission. If we do anything, we are both going to get arrested, And the UK understands that. Not everyone in Congo does. So really working through that has been an ongoing learning curve, which is also why, we are really passionate now about helping other people who want to start charity. That's something that we've now started to do, Pam and I. We've got 14 years of experience, and we are now helping people because we understand that there's just a lot of information that's not out there. Starting a charity in the UK is different to starting a charity in Africa. So we're really passionate about sharing everything that we've learned over the 14 years, so people don't have to spend 14 years learning what we had to learn the hard way.
Exactly. And I think one of the key things that you said in terms of the challenge is culture. And I remember our mentor, Emily, said this to me. I don't know if you were there, Lakeisha. She said, it's not about what you think people need. It's about what they actually need. And that's something, and this is why we transitioned before, because we didn't really touch on that. When we started Revive Congo, we were doing everything. Now, when I mean everything, I mean we were helping medical centers, we were helping orphanages, we were just doing every sector. And then we had to scale it back and really think about our focus. And that advice, that piece of advice of it's not about what you think people need, it's about what they actually need, really helped us focus on education. And I think with funding, it's interesting because although we are a registered charity in the UK, a lot of our activities is overseas, which means that just by nature, we're not able to apply for certain application forms because it's for activities in the UK, which is why we heavily rely on our supporters, and which is why our supporters are absolutely amazing, because it means that when they give us funds, it's not restricted on where we do it, whether we do it in the UK or whether we do it in Congo.
Yeah.
So just to add on what Lakeisha was saying.
Yeah, that's very powerful. And I wanted to know as well, if there's like one message that you want, a listener who's from Congo to listen to this and really let it sink in about like the future of Congo, the future of their country, like what would that one message be that you'd want them to really hone in on?
That's a really, really good question.
Really good.
I think the one message that I would want anyone to take from this is that you can start with what you have. I think we were very young, and I remember someone, saying to me, you want to revive Congo? Revive Congo? How are you going to revive Congo? Like, it was such it wasn't funny at the time, but it was kind of like my motivation that, you know what, I may not know everything. I don't know how to run a charity. I don't know how to lead a group, but I'm just going to use what I have to start. And however, with our IT program, we've got a young person leading it. And that young person is doing an amazing job.
It's fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. And it's just a reminder that you don't need to wait until you've graduated or until you have these qualifications. You can start with what you have, and you can see how you can get the support that you need in order to do what you can do for your country. And also just ask for support. We're always here. Revive Congo, I'm sure you're going to link our website and our contact details, but we are always here to see how we can support the younger generation. But it's important for people to also seek the help, ask for the help, and understand that they have what they need in order to start.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I didn't say is one of the reasons I started Revive Congo, because I was like, I heard Congo was the worst place to be a woman in the world due to various reasons, mainly sexual violence. That could have been me. I could have actually not been here today, and that is what has kept me going. And I think it's very easy. Life has changed in the UK. Our generation, we've got it good. It's easy to just do your thing, and absolutely do your thing. We need Congolese people to be stepping up, right? But remember where you're from. Remember what your life actually could have been like if you were there up until this day. And I think when I think about that, it doesn't matter if I'm tired or what, it's like, we got to keep moving. The other thing I will say, like Pam said, is just start from somewhere. And starting from somewhere, by the way, doesn't mean that you have to start a charity. You can partner, and I'm not saying you have to partner with us, but you don't have to start from scratch. Even if you decide that I'm going to bake cakes next week at work, raise £100, that is you doing something. So I would say just start from somewhere, and starting from somewhere doesn't always have to mean starting from scratch, especially where there's organizations like ourselves that has been going for 14 years. So that's the main message that I would share.
No, that's very powerful. And because I was born in Congo, and I've been here since since I was 2. But I've always had that yearning of, I've built a life here, like my family are here, etc. But I'm still, so much indebted and so much love for my community and my culture, the food, the music, everything. And it was like, how do I, how do I give back beyond just, the donating and whatever else. And as I said earlier, that's why I linked in with Revive Congo, and I was just able to come and say, you know what, I've seen what you guys are doing online. This is what I can bring to the table. This is my, expertise, and I think, you know, that's important in itself, and you know, hopefully I'll get to like a point where whether it's going back and seeing like the orphanage or doing like some other, you know, bits and bobs out there. But I think it's important, as you guys have said, like don't let like those little things hold you back 100%. In terms of, but I don't have a charity, I don't have this organisation, I don't know anyone out there, you know, what can I really, like, don't let, you know, the language barriers, don't let these things hold you back, and that's very, very important. And I wanted to know as well, like, for you both, on a personal level, like, what has been the impacts of Revive Congo on your lives? Like, how has it changed the way you see Congo? How has it changed your, you know, identity? Yeah. And how has it shaped you, in essence?
Yeah, that's such a big question. I would say, you know, like I said, we started young. We didn't know we would be here today. We didn't know where Revive Congo was going to go. But Revive Congo, for me, like, was one of the first time that I recognized, and I probably didn't feel this way at the very beginning, but maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 years in, just knowing that your life is greater than you. Do you get what I mean? And I learned that, I didn't learn that from work. I didn't learn that from, now I have a business, but I didn't learn it from that. I learned it from starting a charity. So for me, like, Revive Congo has also been like, if I've been able to do this for 14 years, there's a lot of things I can't say that about yet. Like, I can't say that, I've been married for 14 years, or I have a 14-year-old, or I've had my business, but I have had a charity for 14 years. And for me, it's a motivator that if I've been able to start this, I can do anything. But also to keep on going. Like, university, I feel like we felt like it was hard, but it was only 3 years. This has been 14 years, and I don't think we've said, but it's been hard. And I think, like you said, the longevity, I feel like that's what it's taught me. There is no stop. We cannot stop. I think another thing that we haven't spoke about is that we are both Christians, and we believe that we were called to this. We didn't understand that when we were 18. I think we knew, but we didn't understand.
I didn't know that. I wanted to make money. I wanted to be a lawyer.
Give you money.
No, I didn't. No, not that. No, I didn't. Before, like, I wanted to do law and become a corporate
100%.
lawyer.
Yeah. I knew, like, money. Like, that ain't an option. We gotta make money for sure. But it was like, we believe that, this wasn't just because the way we met was we didn't know each other from before. We were 18. I do believe God allowed us to connect, and it's like, also just taught me that, you know, if God wants you to do something, start something, he is going to make a way. It has been really hard, but God has literally been so faithful. Like, from team members like you, like, we've had people contact us out of nowhere, like pretty much every other month. Someone's like, hey, we want to do a fundraiser. Once upon a time, we were putting out posts literally for months. Do you want to fundraise? There was no one. So really just learning that if you want to do something, you've just got to commit, and then there's no backing down.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great. And how about you, Pam?
Wow. What can I say?
Question, right?
It's a really big question. I think, you know, it's taught me on a personal level resilience, because I need to be resilient because they're resilient. You know, we talk about how hard it is for us in the UK, but we're talking about people that, like I said, they don't know what they're going to eat. You know, it's the morning and they don't even know if they're going to eat on that particular day. Like Mama B, the person, the amazing woman that runs the orphanage, like, she has taught me resilience, that even when you don't know how you're going to eat or what today's going to look like, that you have to continue going, you have to press on. 100%. We'll be on the phone to her and you'll hear the kids say, mama, mama. Like, she's a mum to all of these children. And sometimes she doesn't know where the help's going to come from. She doesn't know what's going to happen, but she continues. And it's, on a personal level, it's encouraged me to be resilient in any area, in every area of my life, that I have to keep going. Because if there are people that have less than me, that when you've seen it, Yannick, we will share kind of videos of them. They're smiling, they're laughing. They have less than 10% of what we have, but the joy on their faces, those smiles, it really encourages me and reminds me that I have to keep going. I have to be resilient, because they are resilient in circumstances where they don't even know when they're going to see the other side of poverty, but they continue. So what about me? So that's what it's taught me.
No, that's powerful. That's powerful. And I think for me, it's definitely humbled me. I would say, especially within my role and what I do for Revive Congo, when we get like the feedback from the orphanage in terms of like how the young people are doing with like the schooling, and we look at like the different like target areas, whether it's like whether they're engaging with their peers, whether it's hygiene or this person's ill and whatever else, and like it's definitely humbled me, because the things that we worry about here is mundane,
literally,
in comparison to what they are experiencing and going through. And I think the pictures from Christmas when they had like the little Christmas party was just like, it was a big like highlight for me that they didn't need much in the context of things. Like, I'm saying they didn't need much. For them, this could have been like, oh my God, look at all of these things that... But then I was looking at it like, couple balloons, couple of, cans of drinks, bits and bobs like to eat and whatever. But they were so like joyous, and happy about that. And I was just humbled. So I think, just seeing that work that we've been doing, and seeing the impact that we're having on those at the orphanage is really humbling. And I can't wait to see how you both take it to the next scale, which will be great. And just to finish off with, if we're saying, okay, you guys have been around for 14 years. If we fast forward another 14 years, where is Revive Congo?
Wow.
Where is Revive Congo?
Yes.
In 2040.
2040, wow.
Oh, where is Revive Congo? I'm looking at Lakeisha like, because we have these conversations, by the way. We have like 100%. our strategy days and all of that stuff. And I think in terms of where Revive Congo will be, is that we will be having more and more children that we support in terms of their primary education. We'll have, those like Brunel that will be at university or would have finished university. I think it's important to remember that these are the future leaders of Congo. So we'll have the future leaders of Congo in place. There'll be politicians, there'll be lawyers, and we'll have an IT skill center that runs Monday to Sunday to ensure that people are being taught the IT that they need in order to be entrepreneurs, in order to advance in their career. And I think for me, when you say that, like 2040, it will be an organization that you'll see what we're doing in a higher kind of, in higher doses, if you like.
We've been talking about young people, children, but 2040, they are going to be in their element, killing it, because they had a great foundation, because they had opportunity. And who knows, there might not just be Revive Congo, there might be Revive other countries as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you very much. It's been a great episode. It's been great to to sort of hear about your genesis and how you guys have grown and the impact that you're making across the diaspora in the UK, but as well as the impact that you're making back home as well. And I'm sure this is a great opportunity for those who may not know about Revive Congo to truly hear about your story and the impact you're making. And I will encourage those who are listening to continue to support, to donate, to volunteer, not only just funds but time, networks, and all of the above. So thank you again, both Lakeisha and Pam.
Thank you.
For joining us. So that has been the Too Cool for School podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media platforms. Thank you.